so excited to see everyone here for our first West Seattle groundbreaking. Um, we are just so pleased to be coming to the neighborhood. Our construction partner, Craig, is like a longtime West Seattle guy, and it's exciting to be working with him to build this project at 3405 Harbor. One of the things I'm most excited for as a member of the team is that we're putting 114 homes into this spot you see here, and that every one of those homes is going to be attainable, meaning less than 30% of households' annual income for people whose households are earning 100% of the area median income and below. So that's like a really big deal for me, that people are going to be able to afford to live in this great neighborhood. And without further ado, I am going to turn this one over to Brad Padden, who's going to give a few remarks. Brad is the developer.
Thanks, Adina. It's great to see everybody here. So I just want to start by thanking all of our investors, large and small, with particular shout outs to some very important investors of ours, Michelle Linden and Atelier Drome, who are both our architect and an investor on the project. I'd also like to give a shout out to Aaron Pombianco, who's not here, AJP Engineering, also contributing to the project, and Jake Gates from Gates Painting, who is also both our painter and an investor in the project. So we're really happy to have that support from our professionals who work with us and who help make sure these projects are really successful. I also want to give a big shout out to my business partner, Craig Havison, the owner of SDS Construction. Craig and I have been partners since my very first project when he answered a 911 call to help me get out of trouble on a small project I was doing, and we've been partners ever since. He's kind of a guardian angel for me in my construction world because I didn't really know anything about construction before I started at HDC. And together we really built this business model of building attainably priced housing. Without Craig and his expertise in construction and the hundreds of guys that work for him and believe in him, his subcontractors, everybody really in his ecosystem that he brought along, it's just made my life so much easier and made me look great. And so I encourage him to keep doing that. I'd also like to thank our HDC team, some of which are here today and a few of which are not. Without them, we couldn't do what we're doing, and we have a lot of plans, a lot of growth that we're expecting, and I'm going to rely on them a lot today, I do, and in the future. I'd also like to talk a little bit about these smaller, attainably priced apartments. I get a lot of questions about, you've done a lot of projects on Capitol Hill, and you've done a lot of projects in First Hill. Why West Seattle? And I think the idea is that to build attainably priced housing, it doesn't need to be in core urban locations. It can be in locations where it's a lifestyle for individuals who want to live in West Seattle, in a great neighborhood with great neighbors that's been predominantly single family for a long, long time. So by building this project here, we're giving access to opportunities that people wouldn't have had if they didn't have a chance to live here in West Seattle. We're talking about the opportunity to go every day down and jog down Alki Beach. We're talking about access to no less than 7 grocery stores within a mile of here. So the ideas of food deserts and people living in food deserts, we can counteract that with smart projects like this placed in really ideal locations. We also have this incredible local, authentic retail strip up on California Avenue that these folks will enjoy walking to, biking to, taking the free shuttle to. So again, more density means more support for our local businesses and the community at large. Safer streets, more people walking, biking, being in and out. It all enhances the community and the livability and the wellness of the people that get to live here, that don't necessarily have to live in the core urban location, that they have access to housing that costs a price point that they can afford to pay between 60 and 100% of the area median income. A couple more comments here. Really it's about, though, this opportunity to live smaller and more simply, pay less in chunk rent, save some money, Some of our residents will live here because they have to, because they can't afford anything more, and we love them. And there'll be people here that actually make a lot more money but want to save money for their kids or college, to pay off college debt. Or to send money home to their home country because they're here working hard and trying to earn a living, and then they have family to support overseas. So this project will support all those populations, and we're just really thrilled and pleased to be here. And I'm going to hand it over to Craig for a couple comments. So thanks a lot again for supporting us.
Hey everybody. Thank you all so much for coming here. Super exciting morning. This groundbreaking here in West Seattle. First, I am going to do some redundant thank yous here, but I definitely want to thank the whole design team, Atelier Drone, AJP Engineering on the engineering side, Kemley Horn on the civil side. HDC, Brad and his team are instrumental in everything that we do. Don't let him fool you. He's taught me so much about the development world that I can't believe how much I've learned over the last 8 or 9 years working with Brad, and really enjoy working with Brad and his entire team as well. So big special thanks to HDC and all that you've done to help get us here today. The STS team, we have Jill, who runs our whole multifamily division here. She's a huge part in making these projects happen. And we have Kareem over there, our project manager, and William, our superintendent over there. They're about to embark in a pretty complicated project that I'll touch on here in a little bit. To all of our investors, thank you so much for your belief, your trust in us, and for your belief in our vision, as I don't think many people invest with us that don't also agree with the vision that Brad and I have of bringing, attainable housing. And just to touch real quick on the word attainable versus the word affordable. For us, a big part of our mission is to be able to bring housing to the market without subsidies, without government support. So we're really going out of our way to bring it in through the free market, but to bring the lowest possible price housing that we can through that. And it's very challenging and also very interesting to learn. And we could both talk for a long, long time on that. And everybody knows I can talk for a long time in general. So I want to give a shout out to all of our MEP consultants as well. That's mechanical, electrical, plumbing, engineers. I want to give a special shout out to my wife over here as she lets me play in the dirt as an adult. And I'm very thankful for that, and couldn't do any of this without your support. So really appreciate all that you do to support me and my dreams and visions with Brad. So this project specifically, I'm really excited about. This project is in my backyard. This has been my home for the last 22 years in West Seattle, 21 years. Alki has so many amazing amenities, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful area. That said, it's lined with luxury condominiums and dotted with a few dated apartment buildings. The dated apartment buildings that do exist generally have very large apartments, and they're still very expensive. So bringing this type of product to this exact specific area was really exciting for me to be able to do in West Seattle. As we've seen, when the bridge closed, prices here skyrocketed in housing, even though everybody was pretty concerned that the bridge closed was going to have this extremely negative effect on the West Seattle community. It turned out that it actually had a fairly positive effect. It taught West Seattle to be a little bit more autonomous than it was before, and it showed everybody that lives in West Seattle that it can survive without the bridge, and it can thrive without the bridge. That said, this increase in housing pricing that's occurred here has made this type of project that much more important. Because now, if you want to work in West Seattle and you want to live in West Seattle, attaining a home as a homeowner is going to be that much harder right now. And having to commute all the way across, especially with the bridge closed, would not be a very fun thing to do either. So being able to create this opportunity, as Brad said, for folks to be able to live within the community here at an affordable price point and be able to enjoy all of the amenities that we have here in West Seattle, be able to enjoy Alki. For some of you that don't know, there's a passenger foot ferry that goes right from here. It's about a mile down the road. You can ride your bike and get on it and be in downtown in moments and bypass all of the hustle and bustle of the highways. So this has been a perfect location for our project. It allows people who work in West Seattle to live in West Seattle. Throughout the bridge closure, West Seattle continued to grow its unique image as a suburb extremely close to the core of Seattle, with amazing views of the city skyline. West Seattle has its own quirky and unique culture. That culture was strengthened during COVID and the bridge closure. The West Side came together to help each other and keep our community thriving. Last and not least, I'm excited to build this building because of the actual building itself. I love building at STS, and it's amazing to see a piece of dirt become something when we're done. And we get to stand across the street from what we build and look back on it. And it's quite a sense of accomplishment to be able to stand there and see something that you've built from nothing become this community and this home that's going to last for 100 years to come. This is also the first opportunity that we've had to install a puzzle parking system, which those of you that don't know it are going to over the next 20 years, because it's going to become more and more a part of how people build and are able to put parking into their projects. So this project here will have a puzzle system, and where you're standing right now, cars will actually be able to go below us by 9 feet. And the cars park on these things called triple stackers in a puzzle system. Car you drive in and it can go down, it can go up, and it goes, and it's automated all the way around. And it's a really neat new system that we have designed in a few of our projects. Not a lot of our projects have parking, but parking is a driving cost of housing. So if we can figure out how to put parking in a smaller footprint, we can put more of that money and savings towards the housing project and creating more density. Oh, also, fun part of this project is all the shoring. Not many of you might get as excited as we do about shoring, but this project has a ton of shoring, and that's the stage that we're in right now that we're about to begin. And it's a very complicated project to come out of the ground in. So the team's going to be on their toes here to get out of it. So anyway, many of you I see daily, many of you I see weekly. Some of you I don't get to see that often, but I sure hope that I'm able to see all of you here at the grand opening in a couple of years' time when we get to showcase this amazing building and toast to the amazing project that we've all put together. So thank you all for being a part of our community at STS and HDC, and in being a part of helping build this community here in West Seattle. And again, mostly, thanks for having the confidence in Brad, I, and our teams that we can fulfill the obligations that we've promised to you all. So thank you. And I'm going to pass this over to Michelle Linden. Michelle is the architect on this project, but she's also a dear longtime friend. We've worked together for a very, very long time. We've done more projects than I could count. So.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, I am going to be brief, but I did want to touch on a couple of things that Craig and Brad said, and thank you for including Atelier Drome in this project. This has been a really fun, exciting, challenging project for us. I think that Craig talked a little bit about some of the unique items at this site. We've got a 40-foot steep slope from front to back in a very short distance. So how we've been managing to get the parking in here as well as additional units so that we can get that 114 units was a real challenge and a lot of fun. I did want to tell you a couple things that I think are really special about the units here. We do have a good mix of 1 and 2 bedrooms, so there are a lot of different people can have the opportunity to rent here. We've got a great rooftop deck that's going to be facing downtown Seattle. It's going to have a spectacular view. We also have patios that exit at grade to the rear, so there's a really quiet facing side, facing the residential homes behind us. And I think like one of the coolest things is that once the bridge is fixed, and even before it is, this building is really going to be kind of a beacon element, an icon as you come into West Seattle, as you go towards Alki. So everyone's really going to be seeing this building for a long time, and I think it's going to be really special. So thank you again for including us, and I really look forward to seeing it come out of the ground. And Adina?
Thank you very much. I loved hearing everyone who spoke here today talking about their passion, and I love the sincerity. I want to thank everyone for joining us as we officially break ground. So first we're going to do the groundbreaking itself, and then afterwards we're going to invite some people up for photos, which is going to be HTC, STS, Atelier Drome investors, and actually anyone from the community who's interested in getting a picture, we welcome you. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to Alex for the groundbreaking.